and we call these autonomous vehicles. California legislation passed 2 years ago allows the testing of autonomous vehicles under real conditions in the field, but with the operator override. But eventually, to really test it, you have to get people out and see if the car can really drive by itself.
I have two questions.
Sure.
The first one is, by what year do you think that the actual test, without the driver is going to be happening, and by when would those cars be available for the public?
The testing probably 5 years from now, 3 to 5 years from now, we're going to go to without operator to actually do the real test. The actual happening is more goes back to that issue that I talked about, which is our judicial system part of it. We are a litigious society. So many legal organizational issues that we resolve in us. The technology, I have been in these cars. The technology is there today. I personally feel very safe to sit there. Let me give you an example on the aviation. Yes, sir.
Oh, I've been reading stories about those, and from what I've read, they're like, the only accidents they've ever been in is when the human driver actually takes over again. Is that actually true?
Absolutely. The accidents are not caused by the system, by the human operator. These are safe. On the aviation, today, it's equally safe or even more safer to fly the airliners without a pilot. Because the drone technology is so advanced that somebody like your age who's very good at eye-hand coordination and computer savvy can control it from the ground. But who's going to sit in a jetliner who knows that there's no pilot? Psychological issue, legal issue, cultural issue. Your question, when we're going to get there in terms of actual, I don't know. It's very difficult to predict. We have had this discussion internally also.
Have you done any studies to see how the performance of that vehicle is being affected by the performance of the other people around it? Or
it's very intelligent. It predicts.
So would it matter if all of the cars are autonomous or only one car is
No.
autonomous and everybody else is not?
No. This does exactly what you do. This system, these are your eyes and ears. The system does what a human brain does, much faster, much more reliable. It doesn't get drunk, it doesn't get sleepy, it's not meditated. It's much more reliable. But with the legal issues, organizational issues, cultural issues to overcome, they are amazing, and your generation has to solve them. You people are going to solve this. I have every confidence you're going to go to autonomous cars. That's the future. But insurance companies, they don't even know what to do with this thing. These things are not supposed to have crashes. And why do you need insurance? and if you fail, then who's going to sue who? Who are you going to sue? The guy who designed this sensor, the guy who designed the software, the guy who designed the antenna. These are serious, complicated issues. So our technology is way ahead of our organization, our culture, and our legal system in sustainability and transportation. Not only in the infrastructure, not only in the street design and road design, but in the automotive technology also. Let me talk very quickly about another big component of the moving goods. Another thing that we use the transportation system is moving goods. And you guys are sitting right at the hub of the moving goods of the country. These people, the US students went to the port also. You guys went to the port and you know the statistics. 60% of all the goods coming to the United States comes from those two ports, right? These are some national numbers. And when you look at the ton miles that we move and the tons and the value, you can see that trucks dominate the whole thing. Although the railroads are important also. I'm going a little bit faster because of my time constraint. But you can see the trucks are the evil. You have to take care of the trucks if you want to have a sustainable good movement system in the United States. And if you look at the greenhouse gas emissions from transportation of goods, you can see still the big culprit is the trucks. 75% come from the trucks. As much as people in Long Beach and San Pedro, for very right reasons, they want to focus on ships and other modes. Look at ships, they're like 7%, okay? They're not a whole lot. But if you're living in San Pedro, we are creating hot zones, hot pockets, it's important to them. That's why the ships have to turn their engine off now. I'm sure the port, they told you that now they hook them up and they use electricity on the ground. The old days, the Chileans used to smoke and the people in San Pedro would choke. But you can see that this is the problem we have to address with trucks. And the future trends, aren't any different. The future trends still show that either by weight or by value, the trucks are going to play the big role. That we have to focus on the trucks and we have to do something on the trucks. I am part of what we call the I-710 Technical Advisory Committee. We are redesigning the I-710 from the Twin Ports all the way to downtown to I-60. I've been working with them for 10 years and I'm sick and tired of going to their meetings anymore. But this is one of their key elements that we are, the conceptual zero emission truck. This is part of the EIR. You guys know what the EIR is? Any project you do, you go ahead, you do it. No? Any project you do, we have to do an environmental impact report for the state, an environmental impact statement for the federal. EIR, EIS. These are like tens of thousands of pages, hundreds of steps. The EIR that we are preparing for that, one of the alternatives is a conceptual zero emission truck landing, which is going to be the trucks. We were looking at this automated container movement, but that didn't go well for reasons beyond the scope of this talk. Basically, what we are looking at, this is one of the alternatives. The other alternative is the separated toll lane, the toll truck lanes on the elevated structure, which is something like this. Either this or this. The idea is that these trucks, they are going to have like hybrid engines. They are going to run on what we call biodiesel, which is clean diesel, and electric, okay? And when they are going from the ports to downtown, we will have these canopies, and they will have the hooks, and they will use their electric motor. The electric motor is run by the electric system on the freeway. And when they get off the system, when they exit the ramp or they go beyond where this system stops, then they switch back to their clean biodiesel. So this is an alternative that we are looking, this is the first in the country that we are looking at. How much something like this is going to cost to build this section? It's about $7 billion. So if you can put the money together, how much money do we have now for that project? About $1.3 billion. But the next reauthorization of federal transportation bill, goods movement is going to be a priority. There's going to be a lot of federal money coming. Some of you may live long enough to see these on 70. I probably will. But it's a way of the future. Let me very briefly talk about the big elephant, the big white elephant in the room. How can you talk about transportation and sustainability without talking about this? The 800-pound gorilla. You can do all the change you want to the freeway, to the streets, to the land use, to the housing need assessment, to the sustainable community strategy. You can do all the changes to the pavement. You can do all the fancy stuff for 10 miles of freeway in Southern California. One fact is the biggest challenge in transportation, in sustainability in transportation. This bar chart tells it all. This is the United States of America. This is a 2008 data, hasn't changed much, relatively, comparatively. United States of America, we spend 346 million gallons of gasoline every day. Look what the rest of the world is spending. These are all industrial countries. This is the big white elephant, as they say. This is the 800-pound gorilla we have to tackle if we want to have sustainable transportation. If you are serious about addressing greenhouse gas emissions from transportation, we have to go to alternative fuels. This simply is not sustainable. We cannot spend this much. And I'm not saying that we are not producing. Our productivity is 25%. We have the 25% of the industrial output in the world. So people argue, hey, so what? We spend a quarter of energy, we give a quarter of output. We are actually more efficient. But still, it's not sustainable. One of the reasons it's not, and look at this. Look at our reliance on energy sources, and crude oil, and coal, the big ones, and natural gas. These are all fossil fuel, right? These are all fossil fuel. And see who's using the most of it? Transportation, 69%. So that's the problem. this is something that you take in your handout with you. Think about it. Look at it when you have nothing else to do at night before you go to sleep. Look at these things.